The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was silent the day humanity was judged. Thousands of alien leaders watched from tall balconies as the final decision was announced. In the center of the room, a single human representative stood alone, surrounded by guards. The council speaker raised his voice, cold and emotionless. Humanity is hereby exiled from all council space. You are too dangerous, too unpredictable. The words echoed like a death sentence. Humanity was forced to leave the galaxy's center. Pushed away to the dark edge of known space, alien fleets escorted human ships as if they were criminals. Some aliens celebrated the exile, others stayed silent, afraid of humanity's past victories. They all believed the same thing. Humans were growing too fast, too smart, too strong. Far away from the council, humanity built new homes between dead stars. They did not forget the betrayal. They worked quietly, building powerful ships and new technology in the shadows. They waited not for revenge, but for a future where they would never be controlled again. But while humanity grew stronger, something terrible began spreading through the galaxy. A strange darkness moved from system to system. Entire worlds went silent. Scout ships vanished without a trace. The council called it the Voidborn, an enemy with no shape, no fear, and no weakness. The council sent more ships. None returned. For the first time in centuries, the proud alien races felt fear. They searched for help everywhere, but no one could stop the Voidborn. Every plan failed. Every weapon broke. Then, one day, a message was sent to the far edge of space. The message said only 4 words. We need humanity back. And far in the darkness, humanity heard them. The Galactic Council gathered again. But this time, the hall was filled with fear. The holographic map above them showed dozens of star systems covered in dark red marks. Each mark was a world lost to the Voidborn. Each mark represented millions of lives. The council speaker's hands trembled as he spoke. We cannot stop it. Our fleets are destroyed. Our defenses fail instantly. Every alien leader looked at the map, terrified. Their proud empires were falling faster than anyone imagined. The Voidborn did not speak. It did not communicate. It simply consumed everything: ships, cities, even planets, like a living storm of shadows. A commander from the Sirith species stood and shouted, "We need new strategies, new weapons." But everyone knew the truth. They had already tried everything. They used plasma cannons, gravity weapons, star-level shields, and even biological attacks. Nothing made a difference. Every time the Voidborn arrived, whole fleets vanished as if swallowed by the dark. Desperation grew. One council member whispered the words no one wanted to hear: humans. They survived many unknown threats. They solved the impossible. Maybe they can defeat this. The room fell silent. Admitting they needed humanity felt like admitting their greatest mistake. They had exiled the one species that always fought hardest, adapted fastest, and refused to surrender. Finally, the council voted that the decision was clear. Send a message to humanity. Ask for help. But the message was not a simple request. It was a confession of fear. Across light years, the transmission traveled until it reached the edge of the galaxy where humanity had rebuilt its strength in silence. Humanity listened to the council's trembling voice. We beg for your help. The galaxy will fall without you. But humanity did not reply. Not yet. For 3 long days, the message from the Galactic Council waited in the darkness. Humanity did not answer immediately. They remembered the exile. They remembered the humiliation. They remembered being pushed away like they were monsters. But now, the galaxy was begging. Inside the command chamber of the Human Confederation, the leaders gathered around a glowing table. Holograms showed the same red marks the Council had seen: dozens of destroyed systems. Admiral Rhea Morgan, the highest-ranking officer, stood silently at the center. She had lived through the exile as a young cadet. She had seen families tearfully leave their homes. She had sworn that humanity would never again bow to fear or hatred. A young officer finally broke the silence. "Ma'am, they need us." Rhea nodded. "They exiled us because they feared us. Now they call us because they fear something worse." No one in the room smiled, no one celebrated. They all understood the weight of this choice. After long discussion, Rhea made her decision. We return. But we return with strength. We help them. On our terms. Within hours, enormous human ships rose from hidden shipyards, massive vessels made of dark metal and glowing blue engines. Their designs were nothing like the old Council fleets. They were sharper, more advanced, more elegant, and far more dangerous. When humanity finally entered Council space, every alien watched in shock. The human ships were powerful, silent, and disciplined. They moved like a single living machine. The Council leaders waited nervously as Rhea Morgan walked into the chamber, calm and serious. Her boots echoed with each step. She looked at the same species who once exiled her people. Then she said only one sentence: "We will help U-boat. Never again will humanity kneel." And with that, the balance of the galaxy changed. The human fleet did not waste time. After meeting the Council, Admiral Rhea Morgan ordered immediate movement toward the closest attack system. Council ships followed behind, nervous and unsure, while the humans flew with calm precision. When they arrived, the system looked dead. The sun was dim, as if something had stolen its light. Planets drifted in silence. Broken ships floated like metal ghosts. Not a single signal came from anywhere. Rhea stood on the bridge, eyes fixed on the darkness ahead. "This is not destruction," she said quietly. "This is feeding." Moments later, sensors detected movement. A huge shadow spread across the stars. At first, it looked like smoke. Then it twisted into shapes like claws, like wings, like faces, yet none of them real. It was the Voidborn. The alien commanders behind the humans panicked. "It's too big," one shouted. "We must retreat." But humanity stood firm. Human ships locked into formation. Blue lines of energy charged along their hulls. New weapons, never seen before by the Council, glowed with violent light. Fire. The first blast tore through the darkness. The Voidborn screamed not with sound, but with a psychic shockwave that shook every ship. Some alien captains fainted. Others cried out in fear. But humans held strong. They fired again. And again, for the first time in recorded history, the Voidborn reacted. It pulled back not much, but enough to show that humanity had hurt it. Rhea watched carefully. "It can be damaged," she said, "but we need to understand it. This enemy is not like anything we have faced." Then the Voidborn struck back. A wave of pure darkness slammed into the fleets. Several Council ships vanished instantly. Human shields flickered, but held for now. The battle ended only because the Voidborn retreated into deep space, leaving everyone shaking and breathless. Humanity had survived the first contact, but the real war had only begun. The first battle proved one thing: the Voidborn could be hurt. But only by humanity. Back at the human command base, Admiral Rhea Morgan studied every fragment of data. The Voidborn behaved like a living storm, moving with no pattern, changing shape every second, and consuming anything that touched it. But Rhea saw something the others missed. The Voidborn reacted to intense gravity. She gathered her commanders. "We will create a trap around the dying star in Sector 9. The Voidborn feeds on energy, and a collapsing star is the strongest energy source in the galaxy." The plan was dangerous. The Council called it impossible, but humanity called it necessary. Soon, the combined fleets moved into position around the unstable star. Human engineers built massive energy anchors, each one glowing bright blue. If the Voidborn entered the system, the star would collapse faster, pulling everything into its gravity well. As they prepared, fear spread through the Council crews. Many wanted to flee, but the humans worked silently, focused and calm, their discipline forcing others to stay. Then the star trembled. The Voidborn had arrived. It appeared larger than ever, covering half the sky like a shifting black ocean. The moment it saw the fleets, it rushed forward, swallowing light as it moved. All ships opened fire. Rhea commanded. Human ships blazed with blue energy. Alien ships fired beside them, though their weapons barely made a scratch. The Voidborn screamed, sending shockwaves that shook every ship. The star behind them began collapsing, brightening until the whole system turned white. The Voidborn sensed the danger. It tried to escape, but the gravity anchors held it in place. The collapse began. The Voidborn was pulled toward the dying star, struggling, twisting, breaking apart piece by piece. Humanity held their formation, even as their ships shook violently. And then with a blinding flash, the Voidborn was gone. The galaxy had been saved, but the victory came with a heavy price. When the light faded, silence filled the broken system. Ships floated without power, their hulls covered with burn marks. The collapsing star was gone, replaced by a calm, glowing nebula. The Voidborn, an enemy that had swallowed galaxies, was finally destroyed. Admiral Rhea Morgan stood on the bridge, breathing slowly. Her ship had survived, but many others had not. Human and alien crews alike stared at the empty space where the Voidborn had been. For the first time, there was no fear in their eyes, only relief. Across the fleets, messages began to sound. Enemy destroyed. The galaxy is safe. Humanity saved us all. When the combined fleets returned to the Council homeworld, something unexpected happened. Millions of aliens gathered around